This session is taken by a speaker named Jai Narayan, is a qualified architect, graphic designer, communication skills trainer, and professional speaker with over 30 years corporate experience across industries. He also lived and worked in Japan for nearly 17 years. While there, he was diagnosed with an incurable genetic eye disease and had to deal with progressive vision loss over the past 25 years. A Toastmaster for more than 9 years, Jai has won many speech contests and has been invited to speak in Australia and Malaysia. He will facilitate a session that will include a series of introspective questions so that we can reflect on what worked in our life and discuss ways to stay motivated. This session will be presented by, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Jai Narayan with the topic ACT, remaining motivated in difficult times. ACT, remaining motivated in difficult times. Jai Narayan, over to you, Jai.
Thank you very much. Firstly, that's to make it easier for you, it's Narayan. So it's Jai Narayan. Well, thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, that was ACT with an exclamation mark, by the way, ACT. And that stood for adversity, change, transformation. And how do you remain self-motivated during difficult times? Now, I'm going to throw in a caveat, C-A-V-E-A-T, or a disclaimer before we dive in, which is the original mini workshop I had devised under this title was actually for 120 minutes. It was a 2-hour workshop, which has now been condensed into 30 minutes because that's all the window Arlena gave me, which means everything is going to be pretty short and quick, but pretty interactive. The original workshop had 3 or 4 questions for each component. I just have 1 question, and it's very simple. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as the Toastmaster of the evening pointed out, a lot of introspection. So ACT, well, let's get in the ACT. The adversity, the change, transformation. How do you remain self-motivated during difficult times? The first part of it, as I call it, part 1, is going to be called past victories. Now, you will be expected to do a lot of writing, so be prepared, guys. What is past victories? I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I would like you to reflect upon what has been your greatest achievement to date. And I would like you to just document that. I call it reflection and documentation. I'll give you 5 minutes for it, no worries. What has been your greatest achievement to date? Just write it down. It can just be 1 sentence. It doesn't have to be a huge paragraph. That's something I'm very proud of. And then we'll ask my partner here, Sharmini, to choose random names and you will share. Your timing has started, guys. Minutes, I'm going to be asking you to share so that we finish it in 5 minutes. Past victories, ladies and gentlemen. In your own words, it will be my greatest #1 achievement to date has been. I'm using your words. Now, if anybody's ready, of course, you are willing to share. You can raise your hands and Shamini call out the name.
Current is going on. Yes, Harlina.
Harlina, yes, you may speak.
My greatest achievement in Toastmasters is being the Division I winner of International Speech Contest.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that.
It was a very long time ago, but I'm still proud of it. It was in 2011.
Arlene, I got a follow-up question, and that is, I'm not necessarily asking about your achievement in Toastmasters. It could be in life so far.
I'm still waiting for that one, I think. Still looking for that one.
That means the best years of your life are ahead of you. That's a great, yes, by the way, mindset. The best years of your life are ahead of you, Arlena. Thank you for sharing. Well done. Anyone else? It need not be Toastmasters.
Yes, Shalina.
Yeah, Shalina.
And after Shalina.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yeah, you are.
My greatest achievement thus far was complete my self-funded degree at the age of 37.
Mhm.
And when that completion was shared with my dad, he broke down and said, it was an impossible dream of my lifetime, but you fulfill it for me.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's almost like a contest speech there, Shalina.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
sharing. Thank you. I mean, if you develop that into a speech, you have a great potential there. All right. I'm going to go to Sangeeta. I think she also raised her hand.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. And I think the greatest achievement for me till date has been the fact that I help people through counseling, and every time I'm able to help them overcome a hurdle or get in touch with themselves or probably go through that pain that they have, hold their hand, it makes me feel very special. And every single person I've done this with has, I feel like a crown has been put on my head.
Well, this is definitely a feather in your cap. I look at more as a feather, multiple feathers in your cap, Sangeeta, but it's great sharing. Which brings me to the second part of this particular component, which is past victories. And this is easy, but this is what's important. I would now like you to please document how did it feel when you achieved that? And I want a keyword, a single word, or maybe 2 words, that's all. Please write down the feeling. What was the feeling that you went through? For example, Sharlina said something, Sangeeta shared, Arlena shared. How did it feel to you when you achieved that?
Says great.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want those words.
Will Scott wrote in the chat.
Yes, great.
Great.
Sorry, what did he written?
Great. And Manoj said awesome.
Manoj, so you got great, you got awesome, and what else?
Sangeeta says satisfied.
Satisfied. Okay. So we got great, we got awesome, we got satisfied, maybe 1 or 2 more. And then we'll wrap up this particular component of past victories.
Surprised. Harlina said surprised.
Surprised. I didn't know you're surprised. Well, I'm not surprised you won. That's a good one. Surprised. Anyone else? When you achieve something great, when something miraculous happened in your life. Overwhelmed. Okay, overwhelmed, surprised. I would like all of you to please document these words. Please write it down. That's why I call this reflection and documentation. This is the first part to self-motivation. And what I'd like you to do is later on when you wrap up, please do not lose these keywords. These are constant reminders to you. This is how you felt in your life when good things happen to you through your own breaking through your challenges. I would like you to please always look at these words and do not forget. I'm going to come to the second session, which is again 5 minutes. And this is called adversity. This is part of the ACT. I would like you to now please reflect on what has been the greatest challenge in your life. We spoke about victory earlier. And by the way, it can be a current one. I'll repeat that. My greatest current or possibly past challenge is, and write down a sentence. Short one. All right, I'm going to rephrase that. What is my number one current challenge? It could be a recent past, doesn't matter. And again, anyone ready can raise their hands and start sharing. Current challenge. Challenge can be frustration too, by the way. What is my number one current challenge? Anyone ready? I'm not rushing you. It's just that we keep it interactive. So,
okay, I just want to talk. I just say I'm so jealous of the trainers and coaches Advanced Online Toastmasters Club who just elected their exco. And my greatest challenge is to find the new exco for my home club. We're still in the middle of it. It's really tough.
Okay. So you've just seen a fantastic election happen today. In fact, I'm pretty impressed. It was so smooth, by the way. It was like BTS, the Korean pop group, I said smooth like butter. Okay. So your challenge, therefore, Alina, you say is to be able to do something similar for your club, right?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, Harlina, just hold that thought. Don't forget it. Please document it and we'll come back to you.
Okay, Will has said again too many, coming to terms with my disability, losing my mother,
Oh.
proving myself in my industry.
Oh, Will, I'm very sorry to hear about your mother. Will, if you could unmute yourself, was that recent, Will, your loss of your mother?
Jai, no, this was quite some time ago, but you know, I was a bit of a mummy's boy. I miss her every day. You know, it's one of those.
Yeah. Yep. I totally understand, Will, and thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. I feel for you. Great sharing, Will. Thank you. Anyone else? Maybe
Amelia
one.
says unconfident and lazy.
That's your challenge, being lazy and
non-confident.
not confident. Okay.
And
Wait. Adina says non-confident and lazy. Amelia says that. Yeah. Amelia, for how long has this been happening? This laziness and
for laziness, I think this while I feel that I don't really productive, and I just delay all my jobs, something like that. Maybe I'll just after this holiday, especially.
Right. Actually, there's something I'd love to talk about at length about your issue, but we can't do it right now. This is a very quick, short session. So we'll move on to one more person sharing what is your current challenge.
Manoj, you want to say something?
Manoj, you wanted to say something? I haven't heard you, sir.
Yes, being in a startup, it's the third year, but the startup is always a challenge. Okay. Every day is a challenge, particularly we're the natural products industry. So there's a price fluctuations seasonally.
Yes.
So there are unexpected shocks.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I think at some point of time, I think, you know, we have to take it as a game, and that's how I manage.
Yeah.
And yes, it's kind of, you know, getting on top of a lion, you can't get out.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of I believe you know, you feel insecure and uncertainties, right?
Obviously, and I don't have a plan B. I have always told this. So it's easy to say that, you know, you have a plan B, but
so here's the thing, guys. Because we're keeping it short here, we spoke about adversity. This is the A part of ACT, adversities, and most of you have shared your current challenges and adversities. Here's my follow-up question that I'd like you to write down and document now for this, which is, what is that one step you can take to improve the quality of your life daily? I'll repeat that. What is that one step you could take to improve the quality of your life? Maybe you're already taking that step, and then you share that with me. If not, think about it now. I'm going to give you a few minutes. It could be anything at all, but what is that one thing you would do to improve the quality of your life? Simple, guys. I'm not asking about something complicated.
Okay, Will says choose to be positive.
Yes, that's a great answer, Will. My wife read it to me. Choose to be positive. Fantastic. That's number one. Anyone else?
To stay focused.
Right, Manoj, to stay focused. Please make sure you're documenting it, Manoj. I don't want this here. It has to be written down.
Jane says just do it.
Just do it sounds like a spokesperson for Nike, Jane. Maybe be paid for saying that, but just do it. Okay? You could possibly be the advisor to whoever said was very lazy.
Okay, Amelia says she needs enough time to rest. So there's an issue here. There's different challenge.
No, my question was, what is that one step you can take to improve the quality of your life daily? What is the one thing you can do?
It says, understand that this too shall pass and it's darkest before dawn.
So write that down. So my suggestion is write it down. This too shall pass. My darkest hours are behind me. The best years are ahead of me. I know, of course, Will had a great sharing where he said to choose to be positive. I love the word choose, by the way.
Oh, practice Qigong 30 minutes first thing in the morning. Shalina, do not procrastinate. August, keep learning even if it's difficult. Stephanie, focus on feeling rather than on feeling bad. Interesting, Miranda. Need to give us a session on that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Which now brings me to the change of ACT, which is, I would like you to please reflect on how would your life change if you took that step. Many of you written a few things, right? You said, I would do this, I would remain focused, I would choose to be positive. I would like you to now elaborate on that by telling me, how do you think your life would change if you took that step?
Yeah, it says be genuine to people.
Yep. So how would your life change if you took that step? What would happen? Give me some keywords. Okay, I'll repeat that. Make it easy for you. What is that one positive outcome of doing what you are suggesting you would do? What is that one positive?
Amelia says more productive.
So in her case, you become more productive. Okay.
Will says I become someone others want to be around and emulate.
I love that, Will. Absolutely love it.
Sangeeta says she will be more peaceful.
Oh, that's a good one. Someone like Sangeeta probably needs to be more peaceful, because I know you do a lot, Sangeeta. This, that, and the other for the family and work.
Alex says you could influence more people.
Oh, that's a good one, Alex. So you could influence more people. These are great, by the way, documenting. Please write down those sentences.
Marina says I'd have more energy and creativity and productivity to do things I want to.
You would have more energy and productivity if you took that step. Possibly you're already taking it. But yes, this is something to be a reminder for all of you. Good. And one more maybe? Okay, one more, Sham. Anyone share? Which brings me to the last part.
Jane, anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, Jane, I haven't heard you. I think we did hear you though.
One positive outcome.
One positive outcome of you taking that step. What by the way, Jane, what was the step you said you would take?
Just do it.
Oh, you said just do it. Okay. Could you elaborate a bit? We have maybe a minute or two on that. What did you? Yeah.
The earlier one is actually, I mentioned the fear of uncertainty that actually caused a lot of delay. Yeah. So the step that I'm taking up is just do it. So what is the outcome of just do it? So eventually I'll be more healthier if I keep delaying not exercise, or I'll be more confident if I just do it. Yeah. And then I have more satisfactions. And yes, at the end, it will influence a healthy, mentally, physically healthier person. That's all. Back to you.
Very good. So you're specific to exercise and health, but what I meant was, that's very good, Jane. That's great sharing. But if you just did it, it also would impact other areas of your life, right? For example, you become more effective and productive outside of health too, right? In terms of getting things done. Isn't that right, Jane?
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
You get things done, not just health and exercise, but other things because you're just doing it. Yeah.
Sharina says to better manage her, it will be able to better manage her temper.
Oh, that's a good one. If she did that. And what was the step you were going to take?
Qigong.
Oh, Qigong. Okay. So your step was Qigong to better manage your temper, Shalina. Great one. Which brings me to the last T, which is the transformation. And here's what I would like all of you to reflect on for a minute. What is that message that you therefore share to people around you, to others who are going through difficult times? Because you have just told me, you shared with all of us, first of all, your past victory. What was the emotion it triggered in you when you reflected on it? We called it reflection and documentation. And then you went into your adversity, your current challenge. And then we went into what is that one thing you could do daily? Remember, it has to be daily. That would make sure that you come out of it and you remain self-motivated. Remember, I'm not talking about a cure here in terms of something serious that you go through in your life and you do this and everything miraculously get cured. No, I'm talking about how could you just make sure that you feel less overwhelmed, that whatever step you're taking distracts you from the challenges you're going through. All right. And finally, now we're coming to what is that message you can share with others that would help them also by such simple steps. Remember, this is a condensed 30-minute version of a 2-hour program. So what is that one simple step you can take to make sure that you remain self-motivated? Now, here's my final.
Will has said, if I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah, that's the message, right?
Yes.
Now, here's the bit. Now is where it gets really interesting, the last transformation. Please pay careful attention, ladies and gentlemen. If a biopic, by biopic, we mean a movie about yourself, was made, which covers all that you shared with us today. That means your past, your adversity, the A, the change that you go through to remain self-motivated, the C, and the transformation, therefore the ACT and ACT. If a biopic was made about your own life, what would be the title of that movie? I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about it. All of you now are going to share what the title of that movie is going to be. My question one more time. if a biopic was made, a documentary was made about you by any famous director, could be anybody. Okay, Martin Scorsese.
Okay, Will says Still Me.
Still Me would be the title of Will Scott's movie. Wow. All righty, that becomes his legacy statement. Still me. Yes, I want everyone to tell me what would be the title of their movies.
Amelia says the hardest time will pass eventually.
Wait, Amelia. We're not letting go so easily off the hook. That is the title of the movie?
Yes.
That's a bit long. Can you repeat the title of your movie?
The hardest time will pass eventually.
The hardest time would pass
eventually.
Will pass eventually.
Eventually. That's a long name for a movie.
Oh, need to make shorter?
No, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying you're happy with that title. We're okay.
Oh yeah.
No, good. It's good. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it sounded like a very long name to remember for a movie.
Okay,
but
Sangeeta says My Story of Footprints.
My Story of Footprints.
And then Manoj says Care by All Means.
Care by All Means would be his biopic title.
Miranda says I Can Fly.
Oh wow, I Can Fly. Sounds a bit like Harry Potter, but
and then Halina says Surprise Yourself.
Oh wow, surprise yourself.
Alex says
20.
Alex says
wait, what is the 20? Sorry.
20 minutes.
The time. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Alex says Still Standing.
Yeah, I like that. Still Standing.
Xiu Chen is Assertive Lion. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane says Exploring Life.
Exploring Life.
Agus says Break Free. Agus, this is your plan to break free. Huh?
Very good. Break free.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of very interesting responses here. In fact,
these are good titles even
it's a very good title even for a book, by the way.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because there was also a question I had, but I've shortened it to only movie. I also had, if you were to create an autobiography, what would be the title of your book? Many of these titles could be the book titles.
Okay, Shalina says Swallow.
Wait. I want her to elaborate on that. Shalina, just a bit, why swallow? Swallow as the bird or swallow as in swallowing something?
Swallow as a bird, because it's a kind of bird that actually they are extremely agile in flights and spend most of the time on the wings. So to me, it's like, that's how my life feels like. And they also travels between winters and migrating between hemispheres as well. So that's why my life also.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a very good metaphor, by the way. And I also understand from my partner here that you are in very warm clothing right now. Is it cold in Germany?
It is getting warmer. It's like 20 degrees, but I'm actually in the basement, so it's still cold.
Right. Yeah, cool. Swallow. I like that. Okay. But it must have a picture of the bird on the cover. The movie, the title. Otherwise, it could also mean swallow as in swallow something. Right. Good one. Do you have any more responses?
Not yet. Who hasn't said yet?
Anyone who's not spoken.
I think all have.
Everybody has. We didn't have too many. Okay, so
I think Alan hasn't spoken yet.
Alan has not spoken. Alan, you may speak.
Alan? I'm occupied with writing.
Oh yeah, he's going to rip me apart later. All right, cool. So guys, very simply, the whole this whole concept of ACT, which means you, as one of you said, just do it, or you take action on your motivation. Motivation comes from within. I'm going to give you a small quote. I've done this earlier, this quote in T&C speeches earlier. Well, this is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he said that what lies behind us or what lies ahead of us is of small matter compared with what lies within us. And I think if it's to do with motivation, even in difficult times, it's not easy, I know, because I go through that myself. Will knows the challenges he's going through, and so many of you too, right? But it's got to come from within. If you're going to wait for someone else to motivate us, we may be waiting forever. I like to say this even to when I was in the corporate world, in mainstream industry as a trainer and a coach. I would tell my trainees, if you are waiting for your boss to pat you on the back, you may be waiting for a lifetime. So I would tell them for a moment, just take a break to pat yourself if you've done something well and say, well done. And then pat yourself on the other side and say, keep it up. Otherwise, as I said, no one may do it for you. All right. So if you can just document everything that we discussed today in this little short encapsulated session, just those keywords are enough, guys. And just keep it where you will see it, either the top right corner of your bedroom or bathroom mirror, or the back of your bedroom door, or on your ceiling fan. So when you open your eyes in the morning, it's the first thing you see. Believe me, after a while, it gets in here and it gets hard wired. And it becomes easy because it becomes habitual. What do I mean by habitual? These words, these reminders to just be self-motivated through difficult times. I'm going to wrap it up here, okay? Just with reminding all of you, please act on your own impulses. Okay, it's adversity, it's the change, and it's the transformation. How you can remain self-motivated in difficult times. I think I have some time to just take questions from the floor, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And it can be on anything at all. It could be on life. It could be on relationships. The question could be on romance. It could be on my past.
Yeah. Will, you have a question?
Yeah, Jay. It's a very interesting approach that you come with. And my question for you is, very often we find in life, our relationships are skewed. It's what, if you follow the Bible, they kind of, they refer to it as being unevenly yoked. In other words, that your partner may have fewer issues than what you do, or vice versa. And then finding that middle ground where you can reach each other effectively. How do you find that within yourself to be able to accommodate the other, the significant other in your life?
Right. That's a very thought-provoking and very interesting question, Will. Thank you, first of all, for asking me that. Especially, I would say, specific to my condition where I don't see anything at all over the past, 25, 30 years now. There are two things here, Will. One is what I already asked all of you to do, which is what is that one thing you can do to add value to your life daily? What is that one thing? I asked you that question earlier and you all wrote down, whether it was just do it, or immerse yourself in anything creative. The second question is, what is that one thing you can do to add value to someone else? And I think that's more closer to the question you asked me, Will, is what is that one thing I could do to make things just that teeny weeny bit maybe easy for the significant other? Now, that doesn't mean it resolves the problem or the issue or solves everything, but just that one thing that I can do to make things, all right, it's difficult now, but here's one thing I can do to make sure I add value to somebody else. All right. And this is something that I have been following for quite a few years now, Will, not just at home, but even at work. I keep asking myself, one thing I can do daily to add value to someone. It could even be as simple as saying thank you to one more person today. It could even be as simple as saying, I'm so sorry, it was my fault, to one more person today. Could even be as simple as getting out of the elevator door in my apartment building and the security guard who sits at the desk to just salute him and say, you stayed up all night. Thank you. I feel safe. The guy smiles. He actually gets up and he shakes my hand because I got to know from him, very rarely people do that. So to find common ground, I think the easiest way to do is just think of one small thing you can do, keeping the best interest of somebody else in mind. That somebody else could be the significant other. I'll repeat that.
If I understand you correctly, Jay, you're saying live from a paradigm of gratitude.
Yes, I totally agree. You're right. I do that every morning, Will. I call it an attitude of gratitude takes you to the next latitude.
I like that.
I do that. You're right. I will every morning. The first thing I do, and Shami, you want to speak here, is I get out of bed and open the bedroom window, and I just look out into the universe and I say thank you. Sharm, you say you've seen me do that.
Yeah, it's made it easier for me to live with him. I think Will, it's always a challenge because two people being significant to each other, but we are very different entities with different mindsets and different goals in some ways. I think there's this poem by Khalil Gibran that we look towards the same direction, but we do not live under the shadow of each other. So I think common ground is something that we achieve together. It's not easy. There will be always challenges. And if we are a little bit at peace with ourselves within, it's easier to actually allow what happens between each other. So I think it comes from peace within, which makes it easier to know how to react or how to be with our significant other. It works more often than not, but it's not perfect. It's just realizing that both of us are imperfect, perfectly imperfect.
and I'll go back to Will's comment. It is gratitude.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's all about being thankful. Yep. Anyone else? And Arlena, how are we doing for time?
You're still good with the time. It's 5 minutes.
Okay.
So
anyone else? Any other questions on any other topic?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So you were saying that we have to write all this down and we have to put it somewhere where we can read it.
Where you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. And how long will it take us before we can feel a difference or?
Okay. I would say the answer to that question is totally dependent on you, Arlena. There is no one answer that fits all. Okay, it is just something that you keep reading until it becomes so powerful in your mind, Arlena, that it becomes hardwired, and the more you can see it, the more you can be it. Okay, so if you can see it in your mind, you can be it in the world. Believe me. I mean, if you can do that, there is no, it is going to take you 15 days or it's going to take you 3 months. It's the faster you believe what you read is true, the easier it's going for you to actually live it in the world. I believe that. I mean, I have my affirmations and I do that every day. Yeah, you just keep looking at it until it gets in here. And by the way, Arlena, to answer your question, so why did I ask you to write it? That's because it's been shown in behavioral science and psychology studies that the human brain retains only 10% of what it hears 10 minutes after it hears it. So 10 minutes from now, all of you would have forgotten 90% of what I said if you had not written anything down. It was only here, okay? Because it's called monkey mind. It's got 100 other things it's going to think of, 60,000 thoughts a day. So Arlena, that's why you write it down. And you put it up where you can just see it every day and smile. Believe me, the more you do it, the faster it will take for you to implement it in your mind. It's like taking a shower, Arlena, or brushing your teeth. How long did it take for you to get into that habit, Arlena?
Not long.
Because you're doing it every day, right? Because you just come, you don't even think about it. You don't say, oh, I must get up. Step 1, I must pick up the toothbrush. Step 2, I must put some paste on it. Next, I must go to the bathroom basin and brush my teeth. No, you don't. You just do it. Just do it. Right? So it'll become a habit. It'll just become a habit. Those thoughts become a habit. Gratitude becomes a habit. Just opening the window, looking out and saying thank you to the universe becomes a habit.
Okay.
Maybe one more. Yeah.
Will says what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve.
Yes, I agree.
8 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
And Amelia says, thank you for the insightful session, Jay. I need to leave first. Thank you.
Who's this?
Amelia, bye.
Yes, Amelia, bye. Take care. Stay safe. Keep smiling.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe one more final question. And what makes me What keeps me positive? It's my blood group. It's B positive. True. It courses through my veins. Yep. Anyone else? I know it's very simple. This is nothing rocket science I shared with you guys today. It's simple. That's why I said, just to be self-motivated in difficult times, just start doing these small things, small baby steps. You know, there's a very interesting Japanese concept. I'm not talking about the 1,000-mile journey begins with the first step. That's too cliched. Okay, but they do say that dust, even one up settling one over the other, soon becomes over time becomes a mountain. I'll repeat that: dust, little by little, as it settles above, you know, each particle above the other, becomes a mountain one day. So these are small steps that you will take, but you'll have great outcomes. It'll be very powerful, and you will see it. For some of you, it's fast. Some of you, it takes time.
And I think what Zig Ziglar said a long time back is motivation is like taking a bath.
Yeah, shower.
You have to do it every day. It's like.
By the way, she said Zig Ziglar. For those of you who missed that,
yeah, it's like
that's Z-I-G-L-A-R. Zig Ziglar.
Get motivation from some place or motivate yourself every day, because it's a constant challenge every day, right?
And you got to do it. I mean, I'm doing it. Will is doing it. I can see that. Many of you also shared. Because you wait for someone else to motivate you by prodding a pitchfork into your sides, you may be waiting forever. So just go ahead and do what it has to do. One final takeaway message for all of you: see if you can acquaint yourself with some part of art or nature. I'll repeat that. Just acquaint yourself. What do I mean by that? Even a walk in the park, maybe just looking out into the mountains, maybe walk by the river, maybe painting, maybe pottery, it could be drawing, it could be writing, it could be any form of art and or nature. Apparently is a great motivator. Just try it.
10 minutes.
Sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes, Shalina.
Oh, Shalina has a question. Okay.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear your view on this. I recently heard one of my coaches say, motivation subsides, aspiration keep you going.
Okay, motivation subsides, but aspirations keep you going. Well, I would tend to agree in part with what your coach said, because I do not know exactly what he had in mind when he mentioned that. But I'm believing that when he says aspiration, he says you have a vision for yourself, which draws you forward, but means gives you direction. Aspiration keeps you going, Shalina, because your life has a direction. You aspire towards something. That's aspiration. Okay. And motivation is what gets you to do that. As I said today, you need to be maybe self-motivated, but sometimes you get external motivation too. It could be incentive. It could be if you achieve that, something, you get a crown, as someone was mentioning. Maybe you get a medal, a certificate. That could be the motivation. But aspiration is a vision, and that keeps you going. Motivation can go up and down. He's right. Motivation is very fluctuating, but an aspiration is something that is like a dream, a vision with a deadline. Okay, so I think he's right. That's my view on that, Shalina.
Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Do have aspirations. Do have aspirations.
Thank you.
I think we're done for time. So I'm going to wrap up here. You've been an awesome audience. I loved all the sharing, by the way, and all those keywords. I just kept it very simple. But this is my first attempt at T&C to do this, I think. So outside of other regular speeches. So thank you all. I really love the sharing. Back to you.